Welcome to Zoom. Enter your meeting ID followed by pound. Enter your participant ID followed by pound. Otherwise, just press pound to continue. You have entered the meeting as a panelist. Attendees can now hear you speak.
It's 6 o'clock. We'll call our meeting to order. Sarah, would you give the roll call?
Oh. I'm closer to the microphone, so
okay. All right. Heather, give the roll call.
Jim Whitaker.
Here.
Linda Barnhart.
Present.
Eric Ball.
Here.
Bekina Norton.
Here.
Tim Lewis. Ann Gant. Nick Deal.
I think we lost audio there.
Is that you, Tim?
Yeah, I can't hear anything.
I can't hear anything.
Me neither. Yeah, we lost audio there for a few seconds.
Okay. Tim, can you hear us now?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
We can hear now.
Okay. All right. We have Jim Whitaker, myself, Bekina Norton, Tim Lewis, and Eric Goff. Do we have Nick Deal and
Derek Smith.
Daniel Gant?
Yeah, I'm here.
Derek Smith?
Here.
Okay. I'll have a full panel. Okay, I need a motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve the
So
agenda.
moved, Eric Goff.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Whitaker to approve the agenda, and I'll take a second by Mr. Goff to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passed. Next item on the agenda is Sunshine Law speakers. Did anybody sign in to speak? Let the record show that we have no one who signed in to speak regarding the open governmental process. The next item on the agenda is approval of the meeting minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Eric Goff, second by Jim Whitaker to approve the minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Our first item on the agenda is public hearing is Hickory Ridge.
This public hearing is a request for major plan change approval. Project name is Hickory Ridge. File number 3104. Developers Jefferson Business Park Associates. Engineers Greenway Engineering. Located in the Arden District, map 11, parcels 34.1, 37.1, 37, 37.2, and 30. Sites located on Old Charlestown Road off Route 9 in the Arden Tax District. Project proposes 278 residential lots on approximately 55.6 acres to be served by public water and sewer. On October 2nd, 2006, the Berkeley County Planning Commission granted a waiver to section 602.1 of the 2004 subdivision ordinance allowing a divided access boulevard entrance to be provided in lieu of a second entrance for residential development. At the January 7th, 2019 Planning Commission meeting, the developer was granted a waiver to the Berkeley County subdivision ordinance, Article 8, Section 8-1A. 8, requiring 830 parking spaces. At the same meeting, the developer was also granted exception to 705.1 of the Berkeley County Subdivision Ordinance 2009, requiring sidewalks. The County Engineer Dirk Stansberry issued a letter of completion on June 15th, 2020. Stated that the major plan change meets the requirements for approval. Since this major plan change meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, staff recommends the major.
Okay, do we have anyone to represent the project?
Good evening. Jamie McLean with Greenway Engineering.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. If you have questions or comments regarding the project, now's your opportunity to make those known. If you would come forward, state your name and any comments you might have. Yes, please.
Okay, so I have a couple questions.
Do you want to give us your name?
Oh yeah, Melinda Sherman.
You might step forward so you can hear a little better.
So my concern, I actually, this property is actually going to border my property on the other side of the creek. It's actually going to border the property from what I saw, since you typically own halfway into the creek. So my concern when looking at the approvals was, one, the traffic study. So anybody who's ever, it was NA. One, anybody who's been in that area knows that that intersection is already not very smooth. You've got a stop sign at a Peckham connector, stop sign at Old Charlestown Road, stop sign at Baker Heights Road, Meady Road, Van Cleesville, four-way stop. You got 834 parking spaces going there. What's that do to that traffic? Not just that, the bike path comes across that road as well, Peckham connector. I use it probably several times a week. I can tell you that I sit there and wait now, sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes even longer, because traffic has right of way through there. So what's that do to those people using that bike path? And that bike path right now is being used more than probably any time it's been used. There was a waiver for no sidewalks. Is that correct? Is that my understanding? You got people walking through that bike path in that development, no sidewalks. You got people biking there, no sidewalks. No ADA sidewalks either. You're going to have an increase. The parking spot at that bike path is tiny now as it is. And so one, if you don't have sidewalks, you're going to have people coming to park there, and there's no parking already. My other questions are school impact. Again, it was NA on the approval letters. So that is Martinsburg High School, Orchard View, and Berkeley Heights. Berkeley Heights currently now has 800 students, approximately. Don't quote me per number, but it's close. 650 is their ideal number. Okay, Orchard View has about 600. They told me their ideal number was around 670. So, and this is with more and more growth coming in. This is not the only development coming in. And keep in mind, most of these schools already have pods these kids are in. They're not in the building. Martinsburg High School has 1,400 students right now. Their max is about 1,500. This obviously is going to put more than that into these schools. But yet there was no school impact analysis done. Then also, this is the Opechan. The Opechan is part of the Chesapeake Bay watershed. It's right now one of the more protected creeks in this area because it has not been healthy for quite some time. So I asked too, that's Baker Heights wastewater. What is their capacity? What's this going to do to that wastewater? I know they have already had some permit violations at one point in time. I don't know if it's been updated, but that's my question. I know as of 2016, I believe those were supposed to be updated, or their capacities were supposed to be increased. Have they been? Are they ready for this? And then you got that runoff. You're still going to have runoff into the Opechan. Still going to happen no matter what you do as far as stormwater management. And then has there been look? I'm assuming there has. I'm guessing none of this is floodplain property.
There's a buffer. I was just going to take all your questions and address them.
Okay. Sorry, I should have stopped.
No, you're fine.
Okay. I wasn't sure how it worked.
No,
Okay.
making a note.
But Okay, sorry. You should have stopped me. So, are there elevation certificates that need to be put into play? And, and that sort of thing. And also too, I know there's another plan for 77 more acres here also for single family homes. So we're gonna add that into everything I just talked about. And what does that mean for this area? This area is growing astronomically, and I think it's very sad that we leave out those traffic studies and those schools, because those are a huge part of why people want to live here. And those are very important. And it brings people here, it brings quality of life up and for the better, which we all know that we can do right now. So, and always.
And very rarely does this happen, but very good eye on your behalf, Ms. Sherman. There was a slight typo in the staff report because there was a TIS that was done by Kittleson Associates. So it was just, it's a typo. There hasn't been a traffic impact study been done. That's been worked with a traffic engineer. There, I believe Laura has uploaded that traffic impact study to the, I don't know if it's called Llama now or the Berkeley County database. And then there was a school impact analysis that was done, so you can tell that you're a teacher. Okay. And then, yeah, that's what I thought. The other aspect that you were talking about as far as the Chesapeake Bay and the Opequon and keeping the waters clean, the good thing about this and the fact that we're doing it now in 2020, so this was originally approved back in 2006. So we didn't change the design at all, but what we did do is when Heather was approached a couple years ago about this, she said, okay, I get it, everyone who's held this property has renewed their preliminary plat, but to Heather's credit, she said, time out, we need to update stormwater management. So that is what Greenway has done. We've done a supplementary stormwater plan, update stormwater management for quality and quantity for this property. So as far as the sidewalks and the parking spaces for the bike path, that is not something that I can field, but as far as the schools, the traffic impact study, the Opequon Chesapeake Bay watershed, I have brought my engineer who did the regenerative stormwater conveyance plan. It's the stormwater management plan. So Eric can certainly speak more to that than I can, but it's essentially a stream restoration project that will improve the health and the quality of that property, of that body of water that goes out. So it was.
I'm sorry, Eric,
Come on.
we're on YouTube as well, so in order to broadcast, we need to be close to the microphone.
Just to elaborate on the stormwater management that we're providing.
You want to
So
give us your name again?
Eric Gottschall with Greenway Engineering. There is an eroded stream channel out there, considerable length of it, about a half mile. And the major feature for the stormwater improvement here is a stream restoration to go in and bring that thing back to life and improve that. So there's bioretention that goes with it in certain areas, but the main feature is channel improvement in that stream. So it's upwards of 3,000 feet that they're going to go in and essentially creates ripple pools along the length of the stream, seeding it and bringing it back.
And I brought a full set of the plans as well, if you have any questions and want to look at those. But mainly the main charge of Greenway for this was same subdivision design, same number of lots, same everything from 2006, but with bringing stormwater into 2020.
So with stormwater though, I mean, you're still talking those 300 villas and that bring in, talking about putting a maximum all this kind of stuff. me a little bit different. Also, too, they maintain. You would feel free to take the mic. It maintains the quality of the property. It maintains also the appraisals of those properties. And if you look at townhouses and things in this area, that's unfortunately has not been a lot of the case. And I have a hard time, and I realize the stormwater management, and I realize you do what you have to do, but I have a really hard time believing that that property is better off with 300 townhouses and villas on it, rather than maybe a single family home, or of course we'd all love nothing, but that's not the case. So, but it's definitely, and then the traffic study, do we have results from that traffic study and those full studies? Do we have them present? Do we have them here?
They're available on the Berkeley County website. It's not a binder.
So, I mean, what does it show? Does it show, obviously, Berkeley Heights is already way past max, and this is going to bring in all those kids. Orchard View is right there. Martinsburg High is here. It has to not be, I don't see how it is a positive impact when there's no plan for a new school anywhere in the future in this area, in this school district.
As far as the traffic, or not the traffic, the school impact analysis, I believe you all meet with the schools regularly to give them that data so that they can use that in their preparation as they move forward. Greenway and our client, what our responsibility is to give them the data to say, based on these formulas that you have in the spreadsheet, that this is how many children it will generate. They have met the performance standards that are outlined in the ordinance as far as what they have to do to meet the requirements for a major plan change. I absolutely understand what you're saying. We actually didn't design the subdivision plan. The design was done back in 2006. But what we focused on in the whole charge of the plan change was time out. Let's make sure if we're putting this number of units in there that we're acting responsibly as far as water quality and quantity.
I mean, obviously, I'm not for this. We don't have the information. Impact. Do we have an environmental impact checklist?
I can go back to the school information in a second. I've been on the comprehensive educational facilities plan. Been meeting regularly for the 10-year plan. And part of the analysis data chapter, and all of the information available in the department, including extended preliminary plan bridges. Those numbers were included in that.
Okay, and I'm sure they were. I have no doubt. I mean, anyone who's familiar with the schools in this area knows that they already can't fill in the staff members of it, and we already don't have places for students to go either, or so they're in fact classrooms for students. And then I don't understand why there was a waiver issue for no sidewalks, especially when ADA rules and things like that. We're putting them all over Martinsburg right now, and yet something new coming in where it's ADA laws are there. Why are we not putting in sidewalks?
There haven't been any regulations written currently in the 2009 regulations that ask for sidewalks in residential.
Okay.
And we are currently in the process of updating subdivision regulations, and we all are in agreement there should be sidewalks. So it's up to the committee that writes the subdivision regulations, and then the planning commission and the county council adopt it to put sidewalks in subdivisions that are coming in.
Because that was from 2009. I mean, that was 10 years ago, 11 years ago.
The sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
It was original.
That's 2009.
That's the ordinance. Year the ordinance.
Oh, the ordinance. Okay, the ordinance was 2009. Okay, it doesn't say the year. Okay, I have concerns, obviously. Like I said, infrastructure is already not a smooth operation in this area. There's lots of issues as far as things. I know I'm not the only one in this. I know most of my neighbors are in the same situation as far as this. because they're all the time, and they travel. And they're in those creeks, I mean, 3 minutes. More trash, more wastewater.
No, I would just, the only thing I would add is that, I believe the regenerative stormwater conveyance that we're proposing, which is the stream restoration, I believe it's the first one that's been done in West Virginia. And so it will be kind of groundbreaking as far as the way that we're doing it, and it had this subdivision been built out in 2006, it would be, to the 2004 ordinance standard, so we're being held to a higher standard now, and we will meet it. But I'm glad to answer any questions.
Any other comments from the public?
Move public hearing be closed.
Let the record show that there's no comments. Have a motion of Mr. Goff to close the public hearing.
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Whitaker. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 I'm
Opposed?
going to abstain. This is Derek Smith for conflict of interest.
I believe we have enough ayes that the motion passed. Okay, planning commission members, do you have additional questions of Mr. Plain or of the staff that you'd like to pose regarding the project?
If there are no other questions or comments, I move we accept staff recommendation and the major plan change of the meets the requirements of subdivision ordinance, and to recommend the approval of the major plan change.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker,
Second.
second by Mr. Goff. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain due to conflict of interest. Derek Smith.
I believe the motion passed.
Thank you.
The next project for public hearing is Project Independence, Procter & Gamble.
This is a request for major plan change approval. Project name is Project Independence for Procter & Gamble. File number is 009-15. Developer is Procter & Gamble Manufacturing Company. The engineer is Panoni Associates Incorporated. Located in the Arden District, map 10, parcel 1. The site is within the existing Taylor Station Business Park, along Business Park Drive and west of the Winchester and West Railroad. It's on Development Drive. This major plan change proposes a change in the location of outfall from storm. At the May 4th, 2015 Planning Commission meeting, the developer was granted waivers to the following sections of the subdivision ordinance. 8-1B.3 parking requirements allow the less restrictive calculations. 705 sidewalks to not install sidewalks along the drive. However, the developer will extend the sidewalk on Development Drive to the main entrance facility. Section 6 and 8 curbs to not require curbing in parking areas, but provide where required in the Department of Highway entrances. And I'd like to call out all of those items were in reference to the previous plan, not this. The county engineer, Dirk Stansberry, issued a letter of completion on June 8th, 2020, and stated the major plan requirements for this major plan change meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance. Staff recommends approval of the major.
Do you have anyone to represent the project?
Hi, I'm Ron Slowski with the United Associates. Sorry. And I'm happy to answer.
Thank you. It is a public hearing. If you have questions or comments regarding the project, please come forward, state your name and any questions you might have. Let the record show that there's no public comment. Need a motion to close.
Move public hearing be closed.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Goff, second by Mr. Whitaker to close the public hearing for Project Independence, Procter Gamble. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Abstain? I think so either, but I don't think I'll abstain. Okay, planning commission members, I need a motion unless you have questions.
If there are no questions, I move we accept staff recommendation to the major plan change and recommending the approval of the change.
Motion by
Second.
Mr. Second, motion by Mr. Whitaker, second by Mr. Lewis. To accept staff recommendation and approve major plan change. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, I think that's unanimous. Any abstentions? Motion passed.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
That's it.
The next project under public hearing is Associated Asphalt.
This is a request for major plan change. The project is Associated Asphalt. The file number is 6-04. The developer is also Associated Asphalt, and the engineer is Greenway Engineering. It's located in the Arden District, map 18, parcel 15, at 855 Corning Way in Martinsburg. The major plan change proposes the of an 8,150 square foot building with park loading and facilities, 4,819 square foot addition and gravel access area. No waivers or exceptions have been requested. County engineer Dirk Stansberry issued a letter of 1st, 2020. Since the major plan change meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, staff recommends approval of the.
Do we have anyone to represent the project?
Good evening again. Jamie McLean, Greenway Engineering. We also have Mr. Norton, who is in charge of the local terminal, and Mr. Sam Cannon, who's VP of Operations for Associated Asphalt as well.
Okay, any questions or comments from the public?
Hearing none,
Move public hearing be closed.
Second.
Let the record show that there's no public comment. Motion by Mr. Goff, second by Mr. Whitaker, to close the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
One abstention by Ms. Norton.
Abstain due to another abstention by Derek Smith due to conflict of interest.
I think it was a timing thing. Becky.
It's not a meeting. Oh. Lakina, we're told that you don't need to abstain because it's not immediate family.
Right. I did not abstain.
Oh,
I think it was the delay in the hearing.
a delay in it. Okay, all right. Just Mr. Smith, is abstaining. Okay.
Yes.
Correct.
All right. With that, the motion passed and the public hearing is closed. Planning commission members, do you have, questions or comments, regarding the project?
No one has any. I move we accept staff recommendation and approve the major plan change.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker, second by Mr. Goff, to accept the staff recommendation and, the major plan change. All those in favor, excuse me.
Aye.
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 Motion passed.
Abstention by Derek Smith for the.
Okay, the next item on the agenda, is Middle Creek Vistas.
This is a request for preliminary plan approval for Middle Creek Vistas Phase 1, file number 36-18. The developer is Warfield Homes Incorporated. The engineer is Morris and Ritchie Associates. Located in the Middle Creek District, map 1, parcel 3.2. It's approximately 2,500 feet south of its intersection of Sailor's Way and Stroke Bridge. Middle Creek running through the middle of the site. The developer is proposing 45 single-family lots on approximately 37 acres to be served by public water and sewer. On April 20th, 2020, the developer was granted a waiver to Article 5, Section C2 of Stormwater Management Ordinance requiring stormwater management quantity control. On May 8th, 2020, the county engineer issued a letter of approval stating that a review of this project was completed and found to be in compliance. The preliminary plan meets the requirements of the subordinate. Staff recommends advancement of the plan to the final.
Do we have anyone to represent the project?
John Erickson with Morris and Ritchie Associates.
Planning Commission members, do you have questions of Mr. Erickson or the staff?
If there's no questions, I move we take staff recommendation and advancement of the preliminary to the final plan stage.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker, second by Mr. Goff, to accept staff recommendation to advance the preliminary plan to the final plat stage. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passed.
Thank you, members.
Thank you.
The next item, is BTM office building. It says that this is a public hearing on the plat, but it's on the staff report, but it's not a public hearing, right?
So, statement. We will correct that. This is a request for preliminary plan advancement. The project is BTN Office Building, file 55-19. The developer is Coast Properties LLC. The engineer is Civil Planning and Design. Located in the Falling Waters District, 14, parcel 23.1. Located at the east side of Williamsport Pike, US Route 11. Approximately 306 feet south of its intersection with Hampton Mill Road. This project proposes a 4,296 square foot office building, approximately 0.531 acres to be served by sewer. Exception to section 705 to not install a sidewalk along US Route 11, approved March 16, 2020. The county engineer, Dirk Stansberry, issued a letter of completion on July 13th. The preliminary plan meets the requirements to advance to the preliminary plan stage. Staff recommends advancement of the preliminary.
Do we have anyone to represent the project?
Good evening, members. Brad Close of Close Properties. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
I was wondering who that masked man was back there.
They tore his old building down, so they gotta go somewhere.
Gotta go somewhere, yeah.
It's It's down, right?
That's right.
Just come by there today and it's gone.
Planning Commission members, do you have questions of Mr. Close or of the staff regarding his project to place new building on Route 11?
If there's no question, I move accept staff recommendation and advancement of the preliminary plan stage.
Motion by
I'll
Mr.
second that.
Motion by Mr. Whitaker and I believe second by Mr. Lewis to accept staff recommendation
I
and advance.
think that's it.
Yeah.
It's been me a few times. That's okay.
I'm sorry, what?
It was Nick Deal.
Oh, it was
It's
Nick.
been me a few. That's okay.
I didn't even hear you come on board, Nick. I'm very sorry.
I've been on since the beginning. That's okay.
Yeah. Well, that's my guy next to me here.
It's not me.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Whitaker, second by Mr. Deal to move the project to the preliminary plan stage. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Good luck with your new building.
Thank you very much.
I was down by your way today doing a perk test.
Should stop by.
There was no building there to stop by.
Good point. See you guys. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, activity report. I have to ask that we put this on our next agenda item. I didn't get it until after Thursday of last week, and I didn't get it back in town until Saturday night late. So if we could put that on our next agenda.
Just call out a few things that are on it, so as you're reviewing it, you can keep an eye out for them. On page 4, there's a note about staffing, that we didn't have any staffing transitions occur in 2000. Appreciate everyone's hard work to serve the team. On page 5 and 6, there's reference to file management software. There's a brief history of what we've used in the past, and then it's been implemented this month. And then on page 7, there's a reference to collected 2019. That total is $255,000, and it's the highest total. Then it goes into more detail regarding which projects represent larger fee. Page 8 describes the project approvals by Planning Commission. And the last paragraph on page 8 includes information that's new to the report this year. We're highlighting the final plats approved by the Commission have a corresponding performance bond figure to go with that. For all of 2019, total bonding is 13. That's just for new final.
What's the figure again? 13 million?
13,800,000. That does not include anything prior to 2000. And it also doesn't include. So when we approve that's here. And then I also needed to do a 6-month snapshot. That does not need approval, or in July.
I'm sure the rest of the planning commission has already dug into this report. Anybody have any comments that you've reviewed it already? That's not. We'll give you another 2 weeks.
Sounds good to me.
Okay?
And then the CEFP status report, I touched on it a little bit earlier during the public hearing. There's a comprehensive educational facilities plan, it's a 10-year plan. That committee has been meeting for almost a year now. We had our final meeting last Wednesday through all the recommendations. A
Is there any way for the public to know about that public comment, public hearing?
I
Does it
think
sound-
I
Maybe-
can reach to the board, or I can do some more research on that and figure out the content.
Well, it sounds like,
They've got a pretty good media presence. Let the school board, hopefully they get it out also. I think they
And
need
then
to.
it was just came to that point.
well, you know, for the last year and a half, we've been listening to people like Ms. Sherman make comments regarding schools and the overcrowding. And I think to get that information out to the public who has those questions is very important. And, you know, with the situation the way it is right now, has the school board decided yet what they're gonna do with school starting in another 6-8 weeks? Or have they made a decision? I know there's several options on the board, but have they made a decision to do that?
That, I don't have an answer for that, and it wasn't the focus of the call. Did ask for everyone. Parent, I know they asked us to fill out a survey. That's preference.
Did that get mailed to every parent in the county or just?
I subscribe to their online information.
So you got it, but does every parent? That we don't.
I guess if they had the internet, they could have subscribed to it.
I
If
do
they
know
have the internet.
they did send us results, and I don't know the exact numbers, but the number of people that seems like a, and I can get that.
Yeah, it might be. I'm just concerned about the kids that may not have the ability to have homeschool or
Homeschool order or an environment that would
well, that
be conducive to that.
that and the fact that getting their work online and getting submitted, you know, I'm really worried about that. I don't have any kids that I should be worried about, but there's an awful lot of kids in the county that may not have access. I think that some of them are sent home with laptops and tablets and stuff, but if the house doesn't have internet,
Of those surveyed, I believe it was 2/3 preferred some form of.
did it? And then how do they manage social distancing? I think somebody told me there was not going to be any school lunches provided.
They're going to give them lunches in the classroom. That their branch was in the classroom.
I think there's a lot that's up in the air, and I know it's not your responsibility, but you, at this point, are our liaison, or my liaison to the school board, and perhaps Mr. Whitaker as well. I worry about that. I worry about the kids that are being left behind. So, it's fair. Okay, Lima. Lama.
So,
That's
yes.
Peru.
So
It's a llama.
I've
It's an
been
animal.
calling. I've been calling it llama since October, I think, but we're actually phasing into calling it One Stop because that's the actual domain name. It's given to when you log into the website. It's HTTPS, and then it has the One Stop within it. That's similar to what a lot of their clients use. New Orleans had that same domain name. So if you hear us refer to llama or One Stop, it's the same. So it's going well. It's a challenge.
Well, there's so many variables that we need to get a critique to what our needs are. So we're, without having a conglomerate of people out there testing it, they don't know what they're going to run into until it's out into the field.
Well, even after it's out in the field, it's going to take a year get all the.
Sure, because there's going to be so many variables. Like I used to have to do flow charts when I worked for the federal government. And if yes, go this way. No, go that. And I mean, and then somebody would come by and say, "Oh, we need to fit this in there." I was going, "Holy moly!" Okay.
It's
And learning it too.
Yeah.
So even
yeah.
with the training, actually, I think speaking from our department and seeing the permitting department, there's knowing our procedure and being really efficient at it physically. The training that we went through to learn actual software. The month has been every staff member sitting in their office figuring out how do I change my physical movements, putting it all on the computer. So there are people who travel from permitting to planning and back again. They don't have to do that anymore. So now we think, well, we don't need to listen for a bell on the counter. Watch for people. We're watching it on the screen now. So
It's real
a big
time.
shift, but it's
How quickly does it transfer?
their permit techs entering things at their desk or people that are applying for permits online. It's visible at all of our desks at the same time. So we could have somebody in the office. You click your step here because
And whenever Sarah's not at her desk,
I have it up on. That's where we're learning the nuances. Now I need to be able to watch the screen, listening, to look at our projects, and still look at email screen.
That's his job to keep it straight.
okay, if there's anything else, planning commission members, thank you for attending. Do you have anything you'd like to bring up before we?
Just a congratulations to Nick Deal and the acquisition of the property out at the Eastern West Virginia Regional Airport. Congratulations, Nick.
Thank you very much.
You get a star, Nick.
I'll buy you a cup of coffee out there.
All right, good deal.
Okay, if there's nothing else, can we have a motion to?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
I guess that was Eric Goff.
He's good at that.
Sure.
Motion by Mr. Goff, second Mr. Whitaker to adjourn the meeting at 6:35.
No,
6:47.
6:40.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.